Hey there, old school gamers. Yesterday's video was kind of administrative, so today we're going back to what we play this game for, one of the things we play this game for, to get to our cool gaming universes. I mean, there's other reasons like socialization and stuff, but let's get back to cool game lore and how GMs can use it, because here at Grumpy Old GMs, we want to equip you with everything that you need to bring out your inner GM and just be awesome. So we're continuing our NPC Rolodex series with Rolodex entry number 5. So here's an NPC that you can use as is, modify to your heart's content, or whatever you like. So the NPC today is the Reamon Demon. And the picture that I used some AI art creator to make for our thumbnail here, our YouTube thumbnail, this is the first and only picture of the Reamon Demon that I am aware of that exists. So where the Reamon Demon came from is kind of like my Game Master grandpa. So here's what I mean by that. I've mentioned before on this channel the guy, Ron Watson, who taught me when I was a teenager and a young 20-something how to DM. And Joey Baldridge, whom I never met, Joey Baldridge was like the guy that taught Ron Watson how to GM. So Joey Baldridge was like my mentor's mentor. I never met him, but the Reamon Demon was carried forward into Ron Watson's campaign. Now, the reason I'm using the Reamon Demon here, not just because he's cool and I want to talk about him today, but where he fits into our presentation here on this YouTube channel is I've been talking in the NPC Rolodexes about mentor type characters for NPCs that can't just take over. So Lenoth the Owl can't take over because he's a familiar. George the Staff of Zagig, he can't take over because he's like a magic item and he's got needs and he's very powerful but also kind of helpless dependent and helpless at the same time. Because with these NPCs that are mentor characters, that way you as the DM have a chance to interject things into the party's conversation and have it be in universe from an NPC who would actually know what they're talking about, instead of just kind of stopping the game and putting on teacher mode and just trying to teach the party how to play your game over the screen. You know, it's much more satisfying and immersive and just cool and fun if the players can learn things in universe. So and if these NPCs have cool stories and stuff, so be it. All the more better. Better, more better. But so the Reamon Demon is a dark twist on this idea. The Reamon Demon is completely evil, does not have the party's best interests in mind at all, but he's incredibly useful. A lot of people over the years have thought he's incredibly cool. Obviously, I think he's cool because he's still around in my campaign decades later. But he's cool kind of like Hannibal Lecter is cool, because Hannibal Lecter is very charming. There are many admirable qualities that Hannibal Lecter has. His intelligence, his ability to plan and focus, his sophistication, Hannibal Lecter has a lot of very admirable qualities. Now, eating people and being a cannibal is not one of them, obviously. But some of the most fascinating villains are villains that are likable in the sense that they have qualities we admire, but they also have horrible things that push us away. And so that kind of push-pull dynamic, that kind of mix, helps make for some intriguing villain characters. So the Reamon Demon is a bolt-on to canonical Mystara lore, in the same way that George the Staff of Zagig from a few videos ago in the NPC Rolodex series, George the Staff of Zagig was a bolt-on to canonical Greyhawk lore. So George's story, as we said in that video, if you want to go back and watch it, or if you remember it, George's story started in canonical Greyhawk lore, and then Ron Watson just bolted on his lore on top of it and just took it in a really cool expanded direction. So the Reamon Demon was actually made by Joey Baldridge. I've never met this guy. I have no idea how old he is. I don't know what the chances are he's still around in 2023, but, you know, this is just the effects of gaming. You know, here I am spreading some guy's NPC from the early 80s. But the Reamon Demon's lore his story starts in canonical Mystara lore, and then Joey Boldridge bolted on some stuff and took the canonical lore in a really cool expanded direction. And I have done stuff like that as well at my table. I've been inspired by the canonical lore, just didn't think it went far enough and took it further. So that's a strategy as well, to just take things, things that are like, yeah, this is cool, but there could be more. Well, guess what? You're the GM or the DM. You get to make it more. You get to make it go further. So in the canonical Mystara lore, to kind of condense that so the video doesn't get too long, I've already been yakking for like 6 minutes. So to condense that as much as possible, there is a magical city named Glantry in Mystara. Those of you who are in my Mystara campaigns are probably familiar with it. And the source of magic for that entire campaign world emanates from underneath Glantry City. To the extent casters can feel it when they're in Glantry City, and their spells are stronger. If you, of course, fighting in the streets is prohibited, but if you threw a lightning bolt or a fireball in Glantry City, you wouldn't roll dice, you just add up the maximum amount of damage possible on dice. You wouldn't need to roll any. So basically, you'd come up all sixes. If a cleric wanted to heal you with Cure Wounds, don't roll dice, just figure out the maximum amount, I'm doing 3d8 plus my caster stat modifiers. My caster stat modifier is 4, so 3 times 8, 24 plus my caster stat modifiers say 4, so that's 28. Don't even roll the dice, just figure out the maximum possible, because magic is buffed and enhanced that much, because you are right over the source of magic for the entire campaign world. Now, this source of magic, instead of going on for minutes and minutes and explaining that, suffice to say, for Reamon Demon's story, that source of magic has to be fed. And so that is as far as the canonical Mystara lore goes. Okay, so from this point forward, we go to Joey Baldridge's bolt-on to the lore. Reamon Demon is not canonical Mystara. So I mentioned that up to the point that the canonical lore goes, is this source of magic needs to be fed. So Reamon Demon exists to make sure it is fed. So the Reamon Demon will try to find young, apprentice, low-level mages, wizards, sorcerers. And in Glantry, you are considered to be an apprentice until you can toss 5th column spells. You could go all the way up to 8th level wizard and be throwing, fireballs and lightning bolts and ice storms, and the wizards in Glantry will say, "That's cute, kid. When are you going to learn real magic?" So illegally in Glantry, you're an apprentice all the way up to 8th level. But so Reamon Demon looks for young, mages that he can associate with, and he offers to become their familiar. Okay, so he is always dressed in an impeccable suit. And I asked the AI art generator to put him in a tux, and that's what it came up with. He's got business cards, Reamon Demon familiar at large, and he will offer to be the party mage's familiar. He is tall. He is over 6 feet tall, almost 7 feet tall, broad-shouldered. He's definitely way too big to be a standard familiar. Now, he will not enter combat for your party. That's not what he does, because I'm just a familiar master. However, he is filled with all kinds of knowledge. It is totally reasonable that he would know any piece of lore that you as the DM wanted the party to have that they just didn't find on their own. Or you think it would take too long for them to find it on their own, and you just want things to move along more quickly. Now, what the Reamon Demon wants to do is he wants his master, and if you were here, you could see the air quotes around the word master. He wants his master to become a powerful mage so that he can perform a special ceremony at the source of magic to become a god. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? But in the original Principalities of Glantry book, published by TSR in the 80s, at that original source of magic, not to drag things longer into it, there is a chance that you will fail. And if you fail, you will be sucked inside the source of magic to be fed upon. And so what Reamon Demon tries to do is he tries to get his masters to be powerful enough to try it, but he doesn't want them to be powerful enough to succeed. He wants them to try it while they have a large failure percentage built into their dice roll, according to the mechanics in the original published material. So Reamon Demon wants to build a character up, and he will be with you for years. I mean, your character could get him at first level, and your character will still have him at like 18th, 19th level. And at that point, he's like, say, master, have you ever thought about becoming a god? But the thing is, Reamon Demon is busy, and he teleports away. Like, he's not always there. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. So he's around when he wants to be around. And he's not around if the DM wants the party to handle things by themselves. And but he's still always, until the end, he's always a little bit more help than he is trouble, because he wants the party to keep him around. He is dark. You can play up, depending on how dark your campaign is. You can definitely use dark humor, like if the party goes to visit an NPC and the NPC has a pet cat and the party's making small talk with the NPC, you have a lovely home. Hi, your Reamon Demon can say, yes, your cat looks delicious. I mean, just depending on your style of play and how dark the humor is sometimes. But Reamon Demon is fun. He's dark. And he's NPC Rolodex entry number 5. So if you like him, or you get inspired by him for some of your own ideas, definitely leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if that strikes your fancy. And down below we'll also have information on our Patreon coaching program, where we will call you on Discord or telephone and help you out with your own personal GMing challenges. Instead of just generally, teaching like this, we can actually coach you personally. And then check out our Discord. Come on by.